welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is Esper Dreadnought, the deck that I played at Eternal Weekend Prague. Last week I released my dry run with Esper Dreadnought on the channel. It was just sort of a proof of concept, run it through a league, see how I feel about the deck in general. I believe I narrowly lost a trophy round, and the deck felt really good, including completely dismantling Mystic Forge combo, which is the appeal of this deck. At the time of this recording, I'm leaving for Prague tomorrow, which is over a week ago by the time you're seeing it, but that's how this works. I'm leaving for Prague tomorrow, and I've been thinking about and talking to people about this deck and this list all week, and I want to take it for another spin. Things that I'm thinking about right now are, do I want a basic swamp somewhere in the list? Do I want this Barrogoyf in the main, or do I want that to be the third Dreadnought? There's pros and cons to each. Do I want to go 3-1, Consign to Memory Stifle, or keep it 2-2? Is a Born Oculus good enough to be a 2 of? One of these Oculi could also become a Dreadnought. Like, one of these 3 drops could become Dreadnought number 3 if I want to be able to send it more often. Do I want white mana at all, is a question I have right now. I could just play Fatal Pushes over the Swords of Plowshares and find some other cards for the sideboard. Good mana is worth a lot in a format where one of the top decks plays Blood Moon. Those are just kind of the things on my mind. I'm going to get in and see how this all feels. This is Esper Dreadnought that I played in Prague. On the draw for round 1, Island, Ponder, Keep. I have good interaction. I don't have a proactive plan. I can see a lot of cards. Noble Hierarch. So this is probably Nadu. That's not my fight. Alright, now, this is too many Force of Wills. My removal is white. I'm going to lead on Tundra. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm a turn away from doing all that, though it is there. Yeah, I'll bank the Consign to Memory. I will actually try to set this up. Nadu is not normally a Wasteland deck. If this is like Maverick and I've been tricked, the game might just be over. The Bromads. If they have Allosaurus Shepherd, I could be in a lot of trouble here. I'm basically all in on these Force of Wills. Okay, they're Court of Calling. And their hand is Savannah and 1 unknown. I'm going to force pitching Brainstorm. Now temptation is high to just Wasteland this Cradle. They're holding Savannah. They have 2 mana otherwise. I'm not entirely worried about... Like, I have Force Blue card. I don't have double Force double blue card because I need the Consign to make the Dreadnought work. I could also cast Brainstorm right now and see if a different plan comes together. Like, if there's a land 2 cards down, then I can Wasteland them this turn. Actually, I'm going to Brainstorm now. Yikes. Okay, that didn't work out great. But I did find additional blue cards. Put back Barrogoyf and Dreadnought. I wish I had access to this Curie a turn earlier. Yeah, I'm not going to Wasteland, though. My plan is to shove a 12/12 and hit them twice with it. Okay, that is not the land I knew about. That land could fetch Dryad Arbor, which is probably why they did it. And I will now deposit a 12/12 into play. I could actually now play Curie. Next turn... Oh no, I need a land. Never mind, that's a 3 mana play. Alright, I'm just going to make the Dreadnought. Get that out of here. They're dead in 2 hits and I have 2 forces. One of their 2 cards in hand is a land. I need to fade Allosaurus Shepherd. That's basically the card in their deck I care about. Which means I have to counter Green Sun Zeniths for any number. There's the Savannah I knew about. 2 unknowns. Collector Oof. Alright, too late for that one. The Shep. Uh-oh. Well, top deck war begins now. I'm going to attack with my Dreadnought. Yeah, the Collector Oof also randomly hoses Curie, which is so annoying. Okay, I could waste Cradle. How much mana do they have? They have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana without Cradle. I guess with Cradle in play, they just have overrun with Shepherd, but that they have 2 elves. Yeah, that's enough for me to care. Waste the Cradle and skin of my teeth, hope that they don't draw access to Nadu. Just like draw a land for a turn and it'll be fine. There are draws that kill me, there are draws that kill them. There are more draws that kill them, but we'll see. Oh no, there's mana in the pool. Oh god, they're going up to 4 mana. Did you rip Natural Order, you maniac? And I don't have a Stifle or a Consign for... Yeah, great. Cool. Well, they had to draw Shepherd into payoff to win this game, and they did. It's over. Alright, I don't want to see anything else. Just came down to fading, and I could not fade. Priest, Ending, those all come in. Argoyf's not that good here. Yeah, this doesn't have Trample. It's just like a thing versus a deck with Quirion Ranger and Dryad Arbor. It may never actually deal damage. Daze is pretty mediocre here. I would rather play to the board. Yeah, Cage, clearly. We saw how Force of Will fails, but if I had a removal spell that game, Force of Will would have been great, or if they didn't have Shepherd that game. And they could have played Shepherd on the turn that they Court of Calling'd, and they just didn't, so they drew that. I think on the turn they played it is when they drew it, and then they drew the payoff on the turn where they had to. It's all good. I think I'm going to cut another Force. Just having enough in there that I'll see them sometimes. I could see cutting Oculus, but having a flyer in this matchup's pretty serious. Alright, I'll keep this. I'm just going to play the Cage in case they kept a hand on the strength of Zenith for Dryad Arbor. Shut it down. Can't fetch for Dryad Arbor now either. One important thing, though, if you're playing in paper with Grafdigger's Cage or Containment Priest versus decks with Dryad Arbor, it is legal for them to choose that card. It just can't come into play. That's not a backup, is what I'm saying. It's a legal game action that results in them not having a creature. And in case that wasn't clear, if you have Grafdigger's Cage and your opponent cracks a fetch land and announces Dryad Arbor, the language for that is that doesn't come into play. Not you can't pick that. They don't get to go pick something else. They just get nothing. I could have Wastelanded and left up Force of Will here, but I think I want Kiri active. If they're just going to put out Mana Dorks, I want them to have to block those things. It sucks tapping out on a turn where they could shove something like Nadu. But I hope this Cage is slowing down their development at least a little bit, and having an Ophidian in play is something they have to respect. This is one of the harder matchups. Ooh, Swords to Plowshares, okay. Well, they took a turn off to respect that. Dryad Arbor can come into play from hand with Grafdigger's Cage. It goes straight into exile with Containment Priest. I'm going to take that thing out. Basic Forest, pass. Come on, deck. I need some help here, deck. I don't know if they're going to have something like Endurance, but that's something they could have done there for 3 mana. Birds of Paradise making my Wasteland strategy look pretty bad. Hey, deck, how about a spell? Okay, that plays. That's qualified. That is a blue card for my Force. It's also just dress down if it wants to be dressed down. And I could fetch Meticulous Archive this turn. Well, there's Nadu. I think I'm going to let it resolve and try to answer it. Because dress down is one of the few things that can answer a Nadu without giving them cards. I have a bunch of removal spells in my deck. I'll take Thoughtseize. Seize you. Chord, Zenith, Plow. Alright, Flusterstorm is the one that has to go here. And the Cage is doing a lot of work. Yeah, they've got a Plow. They are attacking for 3 at this point. I would have to fight over a Nomad. Would be insane to just draw a Brainstorm or a Ponder or a Boron Oculus or a Swords to Plowshares or, any of the cards in my deck. Come on, deck. Containment Priest. Okay, this gives me Hardcast Force. I will deploy. Have to force this, actually, because it does start drawing with Nadu. Slowly, but fast enough that I care. And I have to hope their one unknown card in hand isn't a counterspell or Nomad. Okay, they fetched in response to Force and then didn't do anything with the mana. That's good news. We're back to here. Still at 10 life, though. I'm going to play my Priest in the end step. I just want to get something in play that does anything. Maybe this will flush out the Plow. Maybe it won't, because there's already Cage in play. Tamiyo will almost certainly flush out the plow. Attack with Priest. Do I even play Tamiyo? I think I'd rather have up Force. I can take 2 more hits from this Nadu before I have to do something like YOLO Dress Down just to jump block it. Jeez. Hate that card. That is lethal next turn. Oh my god, deck. This is insane. Okay, what do I do now? I think I have to end step Dress Down. Okay, so I'm going to play Tamiyo. And I'm going to end step Dress Down because I can't let the Shepherd overrun. Okay, this turns off Shepherd and Birds of Paradise for the turn. If I hit Swords to Plowshares on this Dress Down, that would be nice. The third Tamiyo, we did it. Wooded Foothills is their white source because I turned off Bird if they're going to plow the Tamiyo. I would love a chance to chump block, though. There we go. That's just 3 life in the bank. Turn on those legends in my hand. Nomad. Well, that one is not beatable. I'm now at 3 and dead to Nadu. And my Dress Down's gone. And I'm dead to the Allosaurus Shepherd on the backswing. Oh my goodness. What is this? A cantrip? I didn't know I played those. None of these solve my problem. Maybe 6 turns ago, these cards would have been good. Yeah, Psychic Frog. I could play out Tamiyo plus Frog, but I'd have no cards in hand to discard 2 Frog. The Shepherd can become 5/5 this turn, and Nadu is just lethal by itself. I guess I have to YOLO shuffle. Alright, well, that was disappointing. I saw 22 cards that game, and something like 11 of them were lands. I mean, when you play 3 copies of a legendary creature, that's something that can happen. I did draw all 3. I did blank 2 cards in their hand and then just lose to 3/4 flying. Nadu never even triggered, it just attacked for 20. I have way more removal spells than they have Nadus. I think I ran pretty bad there, but also just acknowledging the points of interaction and weakness here, because I did shut off the combo, but then just died to the random dinguses still around. Okay, on to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 2. Thoughtseize into multiple options of Ophidian. Keep. Thoughtseize is one of my draws to this deck. I love casting Thoughtseize. What you working with? Oh no, the mirror. You dirty monster. Okay. Well, there's a Wasteland in their hand. I definitely don't care about this Phyrexian Dreadnought. I'm holding Plow for that. I can't take them off cantrips, which is what I'd like to do. I think I'm going to take the Force of Will. I'm also pretty well set up if they want to play a Wasteland game. Like if they want to Wasteland me on the draw, whatever. I'll just play another land. They do want to Wasteland me on the draw. That's fine. Brainstorm is a good one. Ooh, I forgot to fetch. I hope that doesn't punish me. Like, this deck is going to have Stifle in it. There's 2 cards I don't know about over there. Alright, well, hoping for the best. Okay. Fetch land worked. Psychic Frog. I'm playing Psychic Frog and not Curie, because if I can hide that this is a mirror, that would be nice. Also, Psychic Frog is just a more powerful card than Curie. I hope they just spend this turn cantripping. That's what I'd like. Dump Doorkeeper Thrall. Not ready for that. They might not have a land. Okay, they do have a land. There's one of the Ponders. Shuffled. And pass. They could still have Swords to Plowshares, but I hope they don't. I am going to play out Scalding Tarn because this is a Daze deck. Like, if I had drawn Wasteland off Psychic Frog, that would be great, but if I need to fight in combat, I would rather have the land in play. Unpunished on that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could slam a Borinoculus this turn. I'm going to go for a Brainstorm. I'd love to find a Daze or some kind of backup. Okay, I did find the Wasteland eventually, so I could have Wastelanded them here to take them off Oculus. Island. Oh, did you find a Stifle? Okay. That's not the worst. I know that the top cards in my deck are lands. Gotta hope they don't have land number 3 plus Daze here. Alright, cool. I'm not getting Oculist this turn. Oculized. Oculated. White man in the pool. Unfair. Alright, that's fine. I don't know anything in their hand anymore. I do know they missed a land drop. And I'm gonna cast Curie now. This does open up Daze, but I think wasting them was more important. Alright, it's fine. They're on 0 lands. Ponder. Ponder first. Force my own Oculus and dress down. I will put the Force of Will in my hand and the Oculus on top of the deck, and I will try to Oculize next turn. I can Oculize around Daze and with Force backup. And they're still working through their Brainstorm lock. Oh, I guess they pondered last turn. They shuffled with Ponder last turn. Alright, that's fine. Fetch. I want to leave Tundra available. Oculus on the stack. I'm prepared to go to the mat fighting over this one. They force pitching their Oculus. I'll force pitching my Consign to memory. We do know their hand is all spells. Cool. Oculus is in, and they're done. Nice. All right. Just had better resources than them throughout the game. Okay, the mirror match. They seem like they are blue-white, though, not Esper. Consign can counter the Dreadnought itself. The Consign is just a weapon on both sides. Grafdigger's Cage and Containment Priest turn off Abhorrent Oculus. Like, these both stop Manifest from making waves. I don't think that is, like, an angle I want to shut off, because that's also a card in my deck. I think I just want removal and steady threats is how I'm going to solve this one. Probably don't need Dress Down. What would that do? I could get my Dreadnought in. I could go no Dreadnought. Or just one. What I like about the Dreadnought in the shell, rather than just putting Consign to Memory as a flex slot into Esper Tempo, is that in matchups like Red Prison or Eldrazi, where a card like Stifle, and Consign's obviously good against Eldrazi, but you don't need to wait for your opponent to come to you and having this eject button. But there are lots of matchups where Dreadnought is a liability. That's why I'm only playing 2, not 3 or 4. And if I think I can just win with my removal, Tameo, Psychic Frog, Kiri, Abhorrent Oculus, Barrogoyf plan, then you don't need that many Dreadnoughts. I'm going to go down to 1 Dreadnought, actually. I just don't believe that this matchup's going to be about jamming into each other. Okay. This is a lot of white removal in a matchup that's about creatures. It's also a matchup that's partially about Wasteland, though, and my hand's kind of soft to that, but I have Wasteland of my own. If they just Tundra Ponder, I can get after it. They also have to think about my Dreadnoughts with their Doorkeeper Thralls. Meticulous Archive tapped. Let's go. They kept the card. I think I'm just gonna fetch Tundra and play Tameo. Like, what are they gonna do on specifically 2 mana that I am worried about more than getting behind in a Wasteland fight? Like, now if we start Wastelanding each other, at least I have Tameo. Alright, JK. We are gonna have the fight anyway, it's just gonna be a turn delayed. I can do this. We can play this game, opponent. Idiot Magic. We're back to turn 1 of the game. Turn 0 of the game has just started, but we both have 3 cards in our graveyard. Now I'm a little worried about Stifle, which is annoying. I'd love to cast this Ponder, but I don't want to just get BTFO'd by Stifle. Okay, I will take this opportunity to fetch Meticulous Archive. I know that opens up Wasteland, but I need white mana. Ooh, I kind of like Tameo. I don't think I like her more than finding my next colored source, though. They got another Meticulous Archive, so they're still digging. I have a Wasteland. Brainstorm. Okay, so they are trying to set something up with Archive, or they're trying to YOLO into a Wasteland because they smell weakness. Not a Wasteland. Is a Flooded Strand, though. Probably actually put back that Meticulous Archive. Okay, Ponder. Ooh. Oh no, I can't have Stifle and Basic Island available. Alright, fine. I'm going to play the Wasteland. If they fetch Meticulous Archive in the end step, I'm zapping it. Which is probably the plan they lined up. Yep, they just have to do it. Still zapping it off. Well, they had a basic Plains and still went for that. That's cool. Okay. Swords to Plowshares this thing. They could have walked me into a spot where they shove Oculus right now and get at least one trigger because I'm tapped out of white. Okay, that didn't happen. Good news, everybody. They're not shuffle. They've got a Flooded Strand. I've got a Stifle. I Brainstorm, try to do something. Lots of lands, let's go. I don't think I want to just put Psychic Frog in the way here. I'm going to put back Ending and Tarn and just play out Tundra. This leaves up Plow and Stifle while building out my long-term plan. Curie, okay. I can plow that. And this is a turn where I can play Psychic Frog. They're really not interested in fetching it to Stifle here. Eventually had to give it up, though. Might not matter. They could just go land Oculus. Emergency Brainstorm. That means I'm not getting Oculus. That's the card I'm most worried about here. Like, Dreadnought hits really hard and stuff, but that's a 2-card situation that taps them out. If untapped with my Frog, that doesn't mean I'm going to get my Frog, but it does mean I'm going to get to attack with it. Do they have the Plow? Do they have a blocker? No to all. All right, we're just drawing cards. Oh, wow. This Thoughtseize is insanely messed up. Just clear the runway from my Oculus. And I don't think they have a removal spell that would work here, or else they would have played it. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Okay, so I can take Exercise and jam the first Oculus, but then I have to play against theirs. Or I can take Oculus, let them answer mine. Oh, this is a sorcery. What? Why is this a sorcery? That card's so bad. Artifact, enchantment, or creature power. All right, well, I'm going to take their Oculus, play my Oculus, get a turn of manifesting out of it. All right, wow, they just scooped. That's interesting. Oh, I guess they're Brainstorm locked as well because I stifled their fetch. All right, yeah, they know what they're drawing. All right, cool. Just jockeying back and forth, and my blue-black build with the 4 Psychic Frogs, massively favored, I think, versus blue-white. They have better mana than me, but they don't have this. They probably have more Curies than I do in their deck. But Curie is worse on its own than Psychic Frog, and you could gum them up with multiple legends like we saw with the Tamios last match. That felt really good. Thoughtseize, powerful weapon.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables.
I'm on the play for round number 3. I have a plethora of 1-mana things I could do. I think I'm just going to play Tamiyo. The reason for Thoughtseizing is what if they're combo or stompy. The reason for Ponder is what if they're Wasteland. The reason for Tamiyo is all other situations, including what if they're stompy or... Okay, now I have information. I know they both have Wasteland and they're a stompy deck. Well, okay. In this case, knowing that they're a Chalice of the Void deck actually changes everything because my hand is ice cold to that card. Consign to Memory is really good here. Thoughtseize, if I Thoughtseize them and they have Wasteland, I'm in trouble. I'm not casting Ponder this turn. I don't think I can afford to. It's either Thoughtseize them or leave up Consign. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize just lets me build out the rest of the plan. What I really don't want to see is Ancient Tomb and 2 Chalice of the Voids. There's 1 Chalice of the Void, Cavern of Souls, Fleshraker, some expensive shit. I could take this Lotus Petal. I think that's risky. I just have to take the Chalice. Okay. Chalice of the Void is out. And we'll see what happens here. I might just die. If there's another Chalice in their top 4 cards, it might be over. Cavern of Souls. They exiled Ancient Tomb, Glaring Fleshraker, Wastegate Battle Mage. Okay. Survived that. I have to ponder, I think. Have to find another land here to play the game. We did it. Okay, do not shuffle. Well, I can't counter their spells anyway, so I guess I'm going to play a Tamiyo right now. I could counter a Lotus Petal or various triggers. That's probably what they took off the PAL. Yeah, this Petal triggers the thing. Drawing a land here would be big, because then I could deploy Psychic Frog confidently. I really don't want to get Myco spawned, is the problem. And Consign does answer that. I can brainstorm away one of these Tamiyos. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm using my black mana. Wow, Brick City. You hate to see it. Put back Tamiyo and Curie. Tamiyo and Daze. Or I can just play the other Tamiyo. But then I get Myco spawned. And I'm already struggling to hit land drops. Okay, I'm going to put back Curie and Tamiyo. First Tamiyo flips. Plus this. And hold up. Consign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they have a land, they can double kick. Sowing Myco Spawn sucks so bad. This card is horseshit. Okay, I mean, just missing a land on a brainstorm is going to be the difference, I think, between winning and losing this. If I could stifle both of the triggers, I think we might be okay. And then gem Psychic Frog and just have the biggest thing. But that's not what's happening here. I can save both my lands, though. I have Daze. Okay. Exile target land. Well, I'm going to Consign, search your library for a land. And I'm going to Daze the spell, picking up the land that they're trying to exile. I can protect all my lands, even though it's not how I wanted to do it. Okay, they get a 3/3. That could have been worse. Could have been better. Devourer is ready to go next turn. Yeah, this guy, his Cradle sucks ass. I could Thoughtseize the Devourer. Okay, I'm going to pick up Thoughtseize. This is damage I don't want to take. Oh, good, we have another Myco spawn. All right, this game's unwinnable. Well, that was bad. The deck with main deck Consigned to Memory just getting obliterated by Eldrazi is not where I wanted to be today. All right, Prismatic Endings. A Barrogoyf is important here. Daze pretty bad. Force of Will is good if they don't have Cavern of Souls, which my Wastelands hopefully can do something about. Stifle and Consign all good here. I might back off a Force anyway. Dress Down. Their creatures aren't really doing stuff. The triggers being created by their creatures are doing stuff. Okay. I am going to do this. This is just beef, and this is one where Dreadnought actually is super important. This is more Oculi than I want to see in an opening hand, but I will keep it. The opponent went to 6. They don't have a Devourer of Destinies this time. I'm not playing around Wasteland. You can't make me. Once upon a time, I have Ugin. All right. That could explode next turn. Snow-covered wastes. And Dismember. All right. That is the one thing they could have there. Okay. I like this setup. I can brainstorm away one of my Oculi and Consign something, or I could brainstorm plus Meticulous Archive. Okay, they played Basic Forest instead of the Eye of Ugin we know they have. Put back in Oculus, and I think I'm actually just going to redraw one of these cards. Maybe Sink into Stupor doesn't matter. Alright, yeah, I will actually bury the Sink into Stupor and get Meticulous Archive. Do I want more lands? I don't think so. I could just shove Oculus right now. I have enough cards. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to Thoughtseize them and then make decisions. I have several things I could do here. Territory Color. Reach Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature, you may reveal it, put it in your hand. If you don't, you may put it in the graveyard. Well, that sounds really good. A 7/5. They do have a Wasteland. And Thought-Knot Seer. I think I'm just going to take Thought-Knot Seer. I can counter this color idiot. And I'm less worried about that than I am about Seer. Though I could curve out if I take the color. Okay, I am going to take the color and play Tamiyo. I accidentally clicked away the cards there. They've got Eye of Ugin, Yavimaya, Wasteland, Thought-Knot Seer in their hand. Wasteland. This does take me off Oculus unless I draw another land. A Ponder could do stuff. Get Tamio in there first. Okay, there's a land. I'll take it. I'm going to put Swords of Plowshares under the land. And now they're in the spot that if they don't pressure my interaction, I'm just going to draw cards. Chalice on 1. Well, I don't really want to play against that card, so I won't. If they don't Wasteland me, I'm in business. Alright, they decided last second to Wasteland me. Now I have to decide if I want this Swords to Plowshares or if I want to try to YOLO into a land for Oculus. I'll keep the Plow. I know that answers the Thought-Knot in their hand. There's Yavimaya, so that's not Thought-Knot Seer. My top card right now is Psychic Frog, but because of Yavimaya, I can just draw that without losing anything. They're going to respond with Dismember? Okay, that's fine. Okay, big draws. Land? Psychic Frog. Well, Psychic Frog is a really good card. I'll cast it. Their hand is Eye of Ugin and Thought-Knot Seer right now. There's one of them. One draw step to rule them all. What the fuck? When you cast a spell and when it dies, make a spawn. Okay, alright. That was the draw. That's just some mana shit. Whatever. Okay. My hand is pretty scary. There are reasonable cases for all the cards in my hand except for Dreadnought to be taken here. Leave it to Eldrazi to make Psychic Frog look like the good guy. They took the Plow. That is probably what I would take too. Force of Will. I mean, that's really good. I'm going to jump this Frog. Checking for Secret Reach. It doesn't have it. Okay. Frog does the thing. Found a Ponder. I'm just going to play my other Frog. With Force Blue card now available, they don't have Cavern of Souls. They can't draw Cavern and an Eldrazi from 0 cards in the same turn. Thought-Knot Seer can attack here, but they don't know that. I'm not going to discard away Force Blue card, but they don't know I drew Force of Will, so they don't know that I'm making that calculation. They might just think I'm fine discarding 3 cards. Sowing Mycos Bond would put me to 0 resources. That would be fucking sweet if that's their top deck. Devour of Destiny is good here as well. One of the things I have been talking to people about this week is how many lands this deck plays, and do we want more? Okay, that's a deal. Force Pitching Ponder. That's one of the ones I can beat. They can attack me with Thought-Knot now, for sure. They know that I can't beat it in combat. I may have sent the Repurposer in too. It gets 3 damage. They know my hand is a Boron Oculus, a card that will slam the door shut if I get it going. I'm happy with that as well. 4, 5, 6, 7. This race is not entirely in my favor. I'm going to be honest. I have exactly enough cards in my graveyard to play Oculus if I draw a land. That's where I want to be right now. Plow Force. Okay. I think I want to plow Thought-Knot Seer. I could just shove Dreadnought in also. Like, I know that's there, but just have a lot of big dreams of playing this land. I guess with Force Blue card backup, what am I worried about? Let's go. Dreadnought, do the thing. Gotta let my deck be the deck that it is once in a while. Devourer can't exile this. It's too big. Too colorless. Funny story, I sleeved this deck in paper last night, and I don't think I've touched my Phyrexian Dreadnought since, like, 2007. Like, it's been a long time since those cards came out of my binder, and they smell so bad. Which is weird, because normally I love the smell of Magic cards. And maybe I shouldn't be admitting to any of this, but I don't know, those cards existed for a long time before I owned them, and at least one of them stinks pretty hard. Okay, Dreadnought's important. Court of Grace is risky. There are games where it would dominate. There are also games where it would be completely uncastable. We've seen a bunch of weird Eldrazi in their deck, some of which dress down effects, but I don't think I'm doing that. Yeah, alright, here we go. Same 60 going back in. Now I'm on the draw versus Chalice of the Void, though, something I have to think about at least a little bit. This has Force Blue card. It can fight over a Chalice. I hate having both Dreadnoughts. This is why I only play 2, so you don't draw them when you're not ready, and here they are. I'm not going to call this a 5-card hand, because the first one is useful, the second one is not very useful. I am going to keep the hand, though, even though I have my trepidations. Though if I find, like, Curie or the Dress Down, this Dreadnought becomes bonkers. All my consigns are in right now, though I have high density of things for that. Okay, they are putting me to the check immediately, and I am going to pass it pitching Tamiyo. I think Psychic Frog's a better card than Tamiyo in the matchup. I'm going to use my archive, dump this Oculus, nowhere near that being helpful. Okay, they can Kozilek's command a Psychic Frog away here, just perfectly on curve. I probably lose the game if that happens. If they're just building up to a 6-drop, I'd rather have Psychic Frog in play. Alright, I'm just going to cast my spell. Wish I had Daze in my deck. Not really. I mean, I'm on the draw, and we're in a specific situation where Daze would be useful. But I don't think it's actually good in the matchup. Hell yeah. Here we go. Alright, and they made spawn, so they're going straight into 7-drop mode. And the cool thing is, if I just find a Stifle, I can still just bash them to death with my 12/12. Last zone. Oh no, now I have no plan. Now I need 2 Stifles. Oh, there's a Consign. I'm gonna ponder using white mana. Thoughtseize, okay. Do not shuffle. Play my land, Thoughtseize you. What are you working with over there? Devourer and Battle Mage. Okay, so they have 100 different answers to Phyrexian Dreadnought. Wow, if Dreadnought is bad, like if they have Blast Zone, Battle Mage, Kozilek's Command, maybe I'm thinking about this matchup wrong, and this just isn't even a card I should have. What does this do? Exile target artifact or enchantment. Yep. Return target creature. Okay, so both of these clear Dreadnought. Devourer. I'm going to take the Battle Mage. It's just more efficient. Though they didn't have any colored mana. Maybe I should have. Or no, they have Yavimaya in hand. Okay. Well, they had at least one kicker for that. And I'm about to draw a land that I don't want. I will shuffle that. Psychic Frog, great draw here. Ended up with Polluted Delta anyway. If I draw Stifle or Wasteland, I can go for it. Because Devourer doesn't answer Dreadnought. Second Consign, that doesn't do it. It does keep me alive for a while, I hope. Blast Zone is an activated ability, not a triggered one. Okay, they're just putting a 6/6 into play. Don't really want a 6/6 in play. Makes sense they'd try to do something, though. Force of Will. Hurry up and wait. Oh, hell no. Well, we're just on counterspell mode at this point. These Dreadnoughts are going to have to find their own way through. My next land casts Force of Will, so there's not that many bad draws in my deck. Alright, Psychic Frog qualifies as not a bad draw. Maybe Fleshraker is not that scary with one card in hand. Maybe that's something I should have thought about. They didn't ramp up Blast Zone in the end step, which makes me think they have a different answer to Frog ready to go. Thought not Seer. Alright, I'm about to lose Force of Will. I could just discard my hand, make Frog a 4/5. How useful is any of the cards in my hand right now, honestly? I'm doing it. Because with the Blast Zone there, I have so many things I need to do before any of these are actually cards. If their hand is just Dismember or Kozilek's Command, they freaking got me. But they didn't wrap up their Blast Zone last turn, so I get at least one turn to bash with this guy. Oh yeah. Spend mana. Spend mana. Put it in the pool. Alright, they had a Devourer. Whatever. I think this one's over. I'll hold on to Flooded Strand because I do play Brainstorm, though you wouldn't know from how these games have gone. A Born Oculus could still do something here. Born Oculus actually completely stabilizes. Well, that didn't. Okay. There are certainly decisions that could have been made that game that may have resulted in a different outcome, starting with mulliganing the double Dreadnought hand, but those Dreadnoughts were useless, which makes me very worried, though I do play 5 answers to their 1 copy of Blast Zone, and I just didn't find one before they had picked apart everything I was doing. That's a bummer. On to the next round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
On the draw in round number 4, I'm going to keep my hand. I do think I want another land in the deck, even if it's not actually a land, like a Lorien Revealed over one of the spells could go a long way. Uh-oh, Urza Saga. Well, looks like we're playing against Mystic Forge. Yep, definitely playing against Mystic Forge. Let's see if I can find my way out of this. Swords to Plowshares does answer Glaring Fleshraker, but Ponder could find Force of Will. I think I'm just going to pass. Okay, if they're just on Make Construct Gaming, that's something I can play through. But this is where they tutor Vexing Bauble and then just beat me with that. All right, put Swords to Plowshares in the graveyard. Yeah, I guess I just passed the turn. Okay, they made the first construct. Oh, good, they made both constructs. That's great for me. If they had just floated mana representing the 4 mana to cast the Karn or the Forge or the Ring or whatever, then I'm in trouble. Hitting Needle. Okay. Probably names Wasteland in the blind. Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Alright, dress these jerks down. Those main deck consigns would go a long way here. Wasteland would be kind of good here. They ponder. Let's have a look. Abhorrent Oculus, Force of Will. I can hardcast a Daze this turn. They do have exactly 4 mana. Doesn't sound like even good though. I think I'm just going to shuffle this, looking for a consign. Stifle. Okay. I don't think holding up Daze under Vexing Bauble is going to win me this game. So here's Psychic Frog. 1 turn of tapped completely out. Kozilek's Command could kill this thing right now. Fleshraker with 2 cards left in hand. How deep are we going? Key is okay. 1 card left in hand. All right. It's actually fine. As fine as things could be, I think. Well, okay, Swords to Plowshares, the Fleshraker. That's as good as that gets. Denying them 1 mana doesn't matter. I'd rather draw a card. I'd hit you with Frog. I draw Tundra. Brainstorm could find a consign here, and that would change my play. If they have to sack their Bauble to draw a card, I'm in business. I could just play another Frog, leave up Stifle, which does slow down Karn and the One Ring. But with multiple keys, I don't think I'm beating the One Ring that way. Yeah, this is actually super tight. Yeah, I'm going to Brainstorm. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize isn't bad. It's my 4th turn, so I don't have a land drop. Probably just put back Daze and Sink. Or Daze and Dreadnought. Daze, Dreadnought, go back. What are you holding over there? Lantern Nexus. Okay. So they are living off the top, which is in some ways a relief and in other ways horrifying. We know that whatever they draw that kills me is actually right off the tippity top. Okay, they cashed in the Bauble. This is the game plan I was trying to get to. Now my handful of permission is on. Mox Opal, don't care. Lotus Petal, don't care. All right. Well, folks, we are, dare I say, ahead. I am gonna shit out my whole hand here. I'm gonna attack with Psychic Frog. They can block if they want. Let's kill this spawn. Like, my hand can just handle any 1 card off the top out of their deck. I don't think there's a single card that what I'm already looking at doesn't answer. New Frog, bigger threat, force backup, dead on board, go. That would have been a good draw. Except it's countered. 15 damage represented right now. Cool. All right, to the sideboard. Deafening Silence, this is a new innovation. We had Null Rod in the deck a week ago when I tried this the first time. And Silence is more effective versus decks like Storm and this one. It's pretty close. Like, they're both pretty good, but we weren't bringing in Null Rod versus Painter or Red Prison anyway, which is where you get that additional use. Okay, Grafdigger's Cage stops Mystic Forge. Consign to Memory, very obviously, is the reason to be playing this deck. This is a matchup where I cut Dreadnought completely. I just don't need that. I don't think I need Barrogoyf either. I like Dress Downs because it keeps Urza's Saga plans off my back. My goal is to collapse their engine and then resolve one of my 6 Ophidians and just run away. Plow is really important versus Fleshraker. I wonder if I need all 4 Plows. Like, I could play 3. I don't want to have to force a Fleshraker, though, in a deck that has removal. What does Stifle do? You could stifle a Karn activation. That's pretty big. You could stifle the protection off the One Ring and kill them a turn faster than they think. Stifle's also blue for my forces. I'm going to keep one Stifle in and go down one plow. Forest blue card Wasteland. I will do my best here. Shop Opal. Another Oculus. I could turn on Daze this turn. I could waste this shop. I think I just want to play basic Island and pass. This represents Consign to Memory, Spell Pierce, things they have to think about, and Wasteland would be better against something like Urza Saga than the Random Workshop. Rewarded for my patience there. I am going to take this thing out, rather than play Psychic Frog, as much as I would love to do that. Ancient Tomb, Glaring Fleshraker, in a spot where I can Daze it. I think if you can Daze anything against this deck, you'd take it. Ooh, alright. I was going to play my Archive, but now Tamiyo's in my hand. Once I'm priced into using this Force of Will, the game gets a lot harder. Yeah, I don't want to play against Karn. And now it's hard mode. Ooh, maybe not. I would love to apply pressure, but I also know that everything important in their deck happens at 4 mana. This is risky, because if they just play like Grim Monolith, they're right back in business. Planar Nexus is even more broken. Alright, yeah, that Wasteland was a wasted turn, but couldn't have known that from the sequence. Just hanging on for dear life here. You've got a ring. Pithing Needle. Gonna name Teferi again. Wasteland. Alright. I've used 2 of my 3 already. Okay, this is definitely dangerous. They have the One Ring active. Obviously, like, all of that is true. They don't have any rings or keys in play, and I am going to just kind of F6 here and hope I get a turn. 5 cards in hand. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana, 11, 12. They have, all right, yeah, they have like 12 mana at least. Mystic Forge. That one can miss. It's possible. Yeah, they played the One Ring and it came from their hand. They're back down to 2 cards in hand. Exile the top card of the library. Okay, Consign to Memory off the top. I did actually draw the 3rd Wasteland. What a tilt. The insult is real. I think I should use Wasteland as cracking a clue here. I didn't find the Consign, or the Force. That's what I was looking for. But I think that was the best way to use what I had. The other option was shoving Oculus and hoping I get another turn. Fleshraker. Now things get ugly. Monolith. Another Monolith. They use their Forge clear. If they start finding keys, I'm in trouble. They still have their ring activation. Kozilek's Command, X equals 4. They are digging and making the dorks. 3 top, 1 bottom. That's bad. They are casting a giant X spell. It's probably another Kozilek's Command for the rest of my life total. Wow, Emrakul the Aeon Stored is a card that is inexplicably in their deck. Okay. Well, now we know about that. On the play, is Daze better? And if so, by how much? Do I want to mulligan more aggressively? I don't think mulligan was the issue. Maybe I could have been more aggressive about sticking a frog when I had interaction. I think I'm just going back in. Same deck. Let's go. This is not the most exciting, but I think is fine. Getting an engine going is what I want to start with. I can Prismatic End a key and Wasteland whatever they use to cast the key, unless they go turn 1 here. Nexus, Petal, Needle, that's probably going to name Wasteland, but I can end the Needle, and then Wasteland the Nexus. Another Petal, Oculus. Get in with Tamiyo. Okay, I hope this Planar Nexus is very important. I've played this deck a few times myself, and the Planar Nexus is the hinge in a lot of hands. Yeah, they seem to be fully equipped with 4 mana anyway. Okay. Using Lotus Petal for Basalt Monolith, 1 temporary thing for another, but key just got better. Come on, deck, Consign to Memory, land. Okay, land is fine. That lets me redraw. Saying there's a chance. Urza Saga. Okay, they continue to play on the super slow. That might mean knocking out the Planar Nexus, collapse their hand, or they might just be keeping weird hands. I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, Tamiyo, get in. Okay. Shut up. I still have to beat Urza Saga, but I'm holding 2 plows. First, a real field test of Deafening Silence versus what my opponent's doing. If they have the Beseiju technology, then they could just clear this. Portable Hole clears it. They have to use their Lotus Petal to Beseiju, though. And that would get me a Surveil land. Something's happening. Or just making a giant Kozilek's command. Alright, they're making dorks and looking. I can't interact with this even if I had it, because of Deafening Silence is my spell for the turn. 1 top, 4 bottom. Terrifying. Like, Karn is pretty bad for me. The One Ring is somewhat effectively mitigated. Mystic Forge actively kind of sucks. Oh, Manifold Key's your card for turn. That's fine. I get to draw a card with my clue. I'm going to prioritize white mana here because I have 2 white cards in my hand that I might need to cast this turn. Stifle. Oculus. I can't just shove Oculus. How clear do I think the runway is to do that? Like, they can make constructs. The constructs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 5s. 2 cards in hand. Oh, you have to exile 6 cards. I thought it was 5. Never mind. I can't even do it. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'll just pass the turn then. I promise I've played with this card before, and I wasn't cheating the whole time. Okay, I'm going to plow this construct now, because I still have a spell this turn. They are untapping their Basalt Monolith in response. You did it. Oh, okay. They tricked me into casting Swords to Plowshares so they could cast a Kozilek's command. Does that matter? Okay, they get to look at more cards and make more dorks. The interaction that I have does not care about Vexing Bauble anyway, so I think I have to let them search. I can stifle a Karn activation. Okay, we are just making constructs. Go for it. I'm going to let them tutor before I plow. If I don't have to plow, I'd rather draw a card. Bauble, Saga, 2 cards in hand. Mystic Forge. Okay. That one's pretty bad with Deafening Silence in play. I'll take it. The tech is doing its job. Bust my clue. Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending, Psychic Frog. I could end the construct, play Frog. I could also play Oculus and take my chances versus the construct for a turn. Again, just hitting a land drop at any point along this road would have been pretty sick. I'm going to go for Oculus. I think getting this game won is the most important thing I can do. Okay, I'm going to Manifest Dread this Swords to Plowshares. They're rolling out Urza Sagas like crazy. I do have my Dress Down still in somewhere. They counter their own Lotus Petal, which is also their spell for the turn. Love to see it. Exile the top card of their library. And they can still play Glaring Fleshraker this turn. And there it is. Yep. Okay. And then activating Urza Saga deals 1 to me. Okay, you get a 6/6. I take 1. I can chump block with Swords to Plowshares. It will answer that construct one way or another. Dress Down. Brainstorm. Okay, now they have 2 constructs. Gotta start dealing with these problems. Does Tamiyo even attack, or does it hold back Glaring Fleshraker? Okay, in for 5. Leaving back Tamiyo. I'm going to Prismatic End one of the constructs, and I guess I will continue passing the turn. There's Dress Down. I would strongly prefer that in my hand than as a face-down creature, but there it is. Maybe they'll bounce it. Okay, I'm going to plow Fleshraker now, or do I care about Fleshraker? It's going to deal 1 to me off this trigger. I think that's okay, though. I left back Tamiyo so I don't have to respect Fleshraker that much. As long as these constructs don't run amok on my head here. Manifold Key can make one of them unblockable, but that's what Swords to Plowshares is for. They got a second Vexing Bauble. Karn the Great Creator. Okay, I mean, that's their spell for the turn. I can't interact with it. I can stifle the activation. What are they going to get with this? Is there an artifact creature that I care about? Okay, this happens. They might just get Portable Hole and try to go off next turn. Walking Ballista. Okay, there is a creature I care about quite a bit, actually. This build is very different than the one that won Eternal Weekend. The Emrakul, the Walking Ballista, these are not cards that are in that deck. Now I feel silly. X equals 3 on this thing. They could have gone more, but stopped at 3. They made another construct. I'm at 11. I think I'm going to block and cast Brainstorm to flip Tamiyo. Okay, they're killing my Manifest in response to this. That's fine. They do have to respect that, though. I get it. Okay, we are going to go multiple full games without looking at a Consign to Memory. That is a 4 of. Does wasting the Saga matter? I can't shuffle any of this. Okay, I guess I just put back the fetch lands. Not that I can manipulate my deck right now anyway. Okay, plus Tamiyo, that's definitely happening. I have to cast a spell on my turn and on theirs. They have 3 9/9s. They can make one of them unblockable. I could kill Karn right now. That's probably pretty important to do. I don't think I want that thing getting a whole extra wish, but I don't want them getting a whole extra turn either. I think I would just much rather have Null Rod here, actually, and I don't know that it's particularly close either. This Deafening Silence has stopped me from having multiple pieces of interaction up. I'm glad I did this league with this theoretical card in, because I think it is much worse than other things I could play. What if I play a second Abhorrent Oculus? Leave up. I get to manifest 2 things. That's block, block. Okay, I think I will try that. A second Oculus. Block, block, block. Kill Karn. Kill them next turn. Or I can't kill them next turn if I leave Oculus up. I could stifle the Karn activation, but that's my spell for the turn. And then I lose to Vexing Bauble. Yeah, I think I actually do have to attack Karn. I could block with the 2 manifest, cast Swords to Plowshares. Plow's going to gain them life, though. Polluted Delta's a creature. And Consign to Memory is a creature. We found a Consign to Memory. We saw one. 29 cards into the deck. Oh, I could stifle the Manifold Key activation and make the creature blockable. This Fleshraker has just like passively Lava Axed me, though. And the Walking Ballista is a nightmare. Yeah, I wish I had stifled that Karn last turn. They have the Bruise advantage. That's just not a card I was thinking about. If they tutor a second Manifold Key and make 2 creatures unblockable, that'll do it too. There's the second key. The 4th Saga, great, cool. I can't find 1 Consign to Memory in half my deck. They have all 4 Urza Sagas. The activated Forge, that does in 7, and this is a different life total than 8 because I have 2 2s. Yikes. Well, nothing I can do about this now. It's in play. I'm at 8. Dead to everything. They tutored the Manifold Key, but then don't seem like they are making their creatures unblockable with it. Okay, here we go. Now the question is, do I stifle this or plow the creature? If I plow the creature, I get to keep my Oculus, but they are at significantly higher life total. I think I need Oculi to win the game. Oh, they're at fucking 5. They just tapped Ancient Tomb. No, I don't need Oculus to win the game. If I stifle this, just making sure they don't have enough spawns to get it done. All right, cool. Stifle. Did we find it? Did we wiggle through? They were at 8, then tapped Ancient Tomb and Mystic Forge to put themselves to 5. Block, block, block. Take 3, 4. Abhorrent Oculus for the win? Oh, and Tamiyo is the bubbles up, so I actually have even more life than I thought I did. Whoa, okay. Well, that game was a mess on both players' behalf. I was surprised by the Walking Ballista. I could have probably mulliganed more aggressively, but also literally half my deck before you saw 1 of a 4 of Consigned to Memory is pretty insane. Deafening Silence definitely did stuff. Like, I would have been dead without it, but I think I would rather have Null Rod in the sideboard. Not being able to cantrip into interaction or cast 2 interactive spells in a turn really actually hurts me a lot more than it hurts them. Abhorrent Oculus, though. Good job, buddy. On to, I believe, the final round. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I'm going to keep this hand that can Thoughtseize them into a Dreadnought. Once again, hope I don't see Wasteland. Once again, likely to add a land to this deck, or something like Lorien Revealed, a functional land after the league is over. Oh, Doomsday. Well, Dark Ritual Doomsday Daze is certainly an open. I could take the Daze and dare them to go for it. I could take the Doomsday, which is like the card. Interesting. I have Force of Will, but it's also my Dress Down card. Or Dress Down is my blue card, is what I'm trying to spit out. Fatal Push answers the Dreadnought, so that's not really a plan anyway. Alright, I'll just take Doomsday. I'll slow it down. Ponder. I'll cast that. If you want to Daze it, go ahead. Take it away. Consign to Memory, Polluted Delta. Tamiyo. I want all of these cards. To get all of these cards, I play Delta now and pass. Now I'm ahead of Daze with my Force of Will. That's a critical box to check. I expect an Undercity Sewers this turn that I will probably Wasteland next turn. They dumped a Misty Rainforest off of that. Ponder. Oh, Doomsday is one of these decks that should theoretically be structurally favored for Dreadnought, because anything that puts a Dreadnought into play also stops a Thassa's Oracle. Tamiyo. Alright, well. Now I have something to target with Swords of Plowshares, and we know they're this build. Okay, I have to lose my Consign to Memory here, which is disappointing, but I'm not going to let them run amok with Tamiyo. I'm going to play Wasteland and then cast Tamiyo before I waste them, because I don't want Tamiyo to get dazed. But if they don't daze, then I can Wasteland. Fatal Push. We knew they had that one. This now opens up Dreadnought. Cycling Street Wraith. Emergency. Dig. And missed a land drop. Alright, deck. Some payoff here. I'll consider Brainstorm as a potential payoff. Sink into Stupor is a land I can play. Put back Dreadnought and Dress Down. And I'm just going to play... My life total doesn't matter here. I'm going to play this as land tapped. I have Force Blue card Pay for Days up for this turn, and I kind of just want to draw back through the cards that I brainstormed away. There's the Ponder. I found a land. Unlucky for me. Dark Ritual. Okay, let's have a fight. Force Pitching Ponder. My top card is Dress Down, which is useful versus a Doomsday pile. Daze. I'll pay. They're going to double Daze down to 0 lands. That would be sick. Let's go. Okay, your Doomsday resolves. This is the turn that they played Flooded Strand, so no land drop available. I'm not just going to suddenly lose to a Consider. Okay, we know their hand is 2 lands, and they probably have to build a slow pile here. Or if they build a hyper fast pile, Dress Down will hopefully blow it out. But I do wish I still had that Consign to Memory floating around. If they were just a Doomsday deck, I would definitely have Consign in my hand still, but because they're the Doomsday Tamiyo Frog build, I had to cast a Swords to Plowshares. Hybrid combo decks hinged on Psychic Frog. Can't wait for those to be gone, including my own deck. Okay, what's in the pile? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Force of Wills. There's 1 Thassa's Oracle in exile, which means that they're in on 1. They didn't make a double pile. All the frogs are gone. Daze, Daze. Daze, Daze. 4 Dazes, 4 Forces. They could have something like Pact of Negation, but I'm going to hope that they don't. And if they set up a Thoughtseize to start the chain, I'll brainstorm the Dress Down away. Wraith. 2 lands, 1 unknown in the hand. 1 land, 1 unknown in the hand. Or 1 land, 2 unknowns. Yeah, that's how that works. Brainstorm. They're going to need a Pact of Negation here, but if it is in the deck, they are going to win. So they're setting up for next turn, or they're going to go Petal Oracle right now. This is Dreadnought. I haven't done anything to indicate that I am a Dreadnought deck, though. This is just Esper Tempo, which means that if they built a slow pile around Cavern of Souls, that's something I can beat. I know there's no Dazes left in their deck, which means I don't need to play around it, which means I could brainstorm now looking for something like Wasteland or Stifle. Or I could hold up this Dress Down with the option to emergency brainstorm, and I'm going to do that. Like, if I get duressed right now, I'd like to brainstorm the Dress Down away. There's Thoughtseize. Okay, interesting. I could just play Dress Down in response to Thoughtseize. I'm going to check for Lotus Petals in exile right now. Got 1. There goes Lion's Eye Diamond. 2, 3 Petals in exile right now. Yeah, if they have just like a 4th Petal and a land. Well, I know they have a land. 4th Petal land beats me here. I could Dress Down just to see another turn. But then what? I Wasteland them and hope they're out of mana. But if they had the mana now, then they'll have it next turn too. Alright, I'm going to hide Dreadnought and Dress Down. If I lose, I lose. But if I play the Dress Down, I lose too. What I needed to find was a Consign or a Stifle off of that Brainstorm to hide where I could Dress Down this turn. Yeah, there's the Cavern. Oh, they're passing. They're passing! It's not a drill. Okay, Wasteland. They have to go for it this turn. We know one of the cards in their hand is a land they picked up with Daze. I'm actually going to hit the Underground Sea because I am not worried about their spell being uncounterable. I am worried about what if they cast a different spell that somehow wins the game. Oh, I should have dressed down in my own end step. Now if I lose to Pact Negation, it was my own fault. Okay, wow. All right, they didn't have it, but if I dress down in my own end step, I know they're locked because they're out of cards, and if they pack, they have to pay for it. Okay, that's a small optimization. All right, cool, cool, cool. This is why we test. Okay, I could still just be an Esper Tempo or Esper Control deck with dress down in it. They didn't see a Dreadnought, they didn't see a Stifle, but they should be suspicious now. The Consigns come in. I still want the Plows, unfortunately, because they are... And I think I just cut Dreadnoughts. 2 Consigns, 2 Dreadnoughts. That is a clean sideboard map. I basically just become Esper Tempo, but with a ton of specific Thassa's Oracle hate. I could bring in more Prismatic Endings to respect the creature side of the deck. I'd probably cut an Oculus for that. Go +1 there. Okay, I'll try that. Just make my removal slightly more efficient and my threat slightly more efficient as well. I'll keep this. That's a little wonky, but it's good enough. I know I'm not playing against a Wasteland deck, though sometimes there is 1 or 2 Wastelands in Doomsday, which is super annoying. And sometimes they lead on Tamiyo, which is also super annoying. But I left in my white removal, remember that, and there's one there. Dress down. I'm going to bin that. I'm not ready for it, even though it is good for the matchup. And anything that fuels Oculus is good here. Tamiyo's getting in. A Brainstorm would be a huge bummer here. I don't want Tamiyo to be a Planeswalker on turn 2. Ponder. Not quite a Planeswalker yet. Got 1 to go. Dark Ritual. Yikes. It's getting worse. Thoughtseize, stop it! Okay, I probably lose Consign to Memory here. Or, I mean, they could just use this Dark Ritual to Thoughtseize me, crack their clue, flip Tamiyo. And now they should know enough about my deck. The Abhorrent Oculus is here, the Consign to Memory is here. I boarded out the Dreadnoughts, but it is something they need to know about. Okay, they strip my Plow and then flip Tamiyo into a Planeswalker anyway. That's interesting. It's not a creature I could kill at this point. That might mean they have Psychic Frog in the bank. Okay, Scalding Tarn was a good draw. They are working with perfect info, but that's fine. You know what? I'm shoving Frog. I didn't think about it at first because I didn't have black, but shoving this Frog with Daze available. This is a good time to do this. You daze me, I daze you. These are the days of our lives. The days of our days. Okay, Frog's in. Let's see if I just die to Doomsday here. They could pick up Dark Ritual with Tamiyo. They could just cast Fatal Push. They plus Tamiyo. They have a new Tamiyo. That thing can block. Okay, so I have to discard 3 cards to get through this Tamiyo. I think I'm fine with that. I'm going to attack their Tamiyo with my Frog. Okay, they blocked. Do I want to discard 3 cards to get blown out by Fatal Push? I mean, I don't want to, but it's happening. Discard 1, 2, 3. I'm all in. The double Tamiyo start was just so strong anyway. If they also have Fatal Push, I'm just not winning this game. It doesn't matter. Okay, we got through that. Tamiyo could plus up to 8 this turn, and then I can take a chunk out of her. Consider. They like the card. I hate when my opponent likes cards. And Tamiyo is an activated ability, not a triggered one, which means that Stifle helps, but Consign doesn't. All right, yeah, just the nightmare scenario. Let's go. Okay, almost certainly dead next turn. I'll shove this Abhorrent Oculus, though, and try for the best. Oculus resolved. They can draw half their deck here, which will probably convert easily into a Doomsday win. Psychic Frog in the manifest. There are 27 cards in their hand. I'm just going to F6, go nuts. Pushed my Oculus. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Another Petal. Thoughtseize. Yeah, go nuts. Another Fatal Push. Yeah, it turns out when you draw half your deck, things get crazy. Okay, Barrogoyf. That's interesting. I brought in 1 extra removal spell. Maybe I need to bring in 2 extra removal spells if we're also on Barrogoyf. This looks like Murktide Regent also. Okay, this all explains why they took the Plow early. This is also why you don't concede when your opponent draws 22 cards. I just learned a lot about their sideboard plan. multiple Murktide Regents. And that card doesn't win me the game. Okay, game 3. I want both prismatic endings now. Stifle still looks good. Consign to Memory, they might be just off Doomsday, and I can back off of Consign a little bit. But they might come back on Doomsday now that they've shown me the juke. Yeah, I'm just going to land somewhere in the middle. Okay, I will keep my hand. I got cards to play. I'm actually just going to pass. They haven't seen a Stifle yet, and if I could cheese a fetch land, that would be huge. And the cost of them not having a fetch land is... I just fetch Meticulous Archive, it's not a big deal. Lotus Petal, uh-oh. Are we sending? Well, that's annoying. Alright, fine. Thoughtseize resolves. This is the first time I've looked closely at Barrogoyf. This is just like human skin on a mouth. This is gross. I don't like that. They took the Stifle, which could just mean their hand has a fetch land in it. I'm not going to read too much into that. I don't think I need this basic island. I'll start with Brainstorm. Tamiyo, let's go. I'm going to put back Tundra and Goyf, and then play Tamiyo. Daze, alright. They dazed that knowing that there's a Barrogoyf on top of my... or coming soon. They don't know it's on top of my deck. They know it's around somewhere. More afraid of cards than big bodies. They played a Ponder and did not shuffle it. Oh, here he comes. The weird skin monster. Skin monster with a mouth. Human skin stretched over a mouth skeleton. With back dreadlocks. That's where dreadlocks go. On your back. Right out of your back. I believe I will force a Fatal Push here. I don't like getting 2 for 1. But if they fight back... Alright, cool. So that is what the game was about. Force pitching Brainstorm. And now I Ponder into Psychic Frog and win. Ponder. Curie. That's kind of a Psychic Frog. I don't shuffle. They would have dazed my force if they had a daze. I could just shove this thing. Okay. Ophidian, take me home. Can't cast Doomsday with this mana. Can cast Psychic Frog with this mana. That would suck. Murktide Regent, not great for me either. Though Murktide is 8, I can get hit by this 3 times. Or I could get hit by it twice. That's what I mean when I say 3. There's a fetch land on top of my deck. I'm just going to pass the turn. And if they attack me down to 9, Curie gets in. I am 2 cards deep. My deck's full of Swords to Plowshares. There's a Sink into Stupor in there somewhere. Oh, come on, chill! I can't beat 2 of these things. Alright, I'll force the Psychic Frog. Now I'm on an actual 1-draw situation, and my top card is Scalding Tarn. So I have to rip out of this right now. That sucks. Their creature deck seems better than my creature deck, which is really annoying that they're also a combo deck. Okay, I got a bunch of draws. Can I find one right now? Big trigger! Easy game. Okay, now I have an Ophidian, and my opponent is drawing wild off the top of their deck. Undercity Sewers gets a small amount of selection. Dumped a Dark Ritual. Okay, can we stabilize? Ophidian versus top of the deck. They pass the turn. Consign to Memory. Alright. I don't even know if Doomsday's in the deck, but if it is, I'm not worried about it anymore. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. I have Doomsday covered, and I have Murktide Regent covered. Curie. Take me home, little buddy. Okay. I was about to decide if I was going to Thoughtseize or not, but now that I have Psychic Frog, I would like to punch a hole and make sure that Thoughtseize goes through it. Their hand was Lotus Petal and Polluted Delta. Now I have 2 Ophidians. I feel good about this one. Murktide resolves. I'm ready this time. No sweat. I actually did have it this time. Okay, double Ophidians going nuts. Ancestral Recall every turn. My deck does have Brainstorm in it, so I will not play out these extra lands. In the next Murktide, I'm not really ready for. I'm going to be honest. Frog could still bash through it because it'll be a 3-3. Fetching. Okay, they did play the 3-3 Murktide Regent. It's a 2-turn clock. Frog is bigger. Dress Down lets me block Murktide. That's interesting. I could here let them attack. Like, I could just attack, but I could also discard, Dress Down, block. Would I rather just draw cards, though? There's 2 Plows and a Bounce spell still in my deck. Barrogoyf races this thing outright. Oh, Barrogoyf's gone. I am only playing one. All right. Attack with Psychic Frog. I'll do it this turn. And then I'll try to get creative next turn. Okay, passing the turn. Oh, Frog can fly. I don't even need to trust. What am I talking about? I'm fine. Frog is dominating the situation. But if my opponent draws Fatal Push, I'm suddenly in some trouble. Another Frog. Okay, I'm not going to get too greedy here. I'm going to attack with Curie, play my land, and a second Frog. Frog. If I Wastelanded in combat, they would not be able to Force of Will here. But I also am not that worried about Force of Will here, I guess. Okay, pass the turn. I could have played around that, but it's okay. That does make Fatal Push off the top a problem where it didn't have to be. Thoughtseize. Do I dump my hand in response? I don't think so. All right. Yeah, you could Thoughtseize me. Have fun. Took Prismatic Ending. So they're planning for the world where they draw another threat. I don't have 7 colors of mana, unfortunately. There's also no sequence here that gets Tamiyo flipped before it dies to Murktide. Am I just chilling? Yeah, I guess I'm just chilling. Who knew 3/3 flying would be such a devastating object on this board? Okay, they must have drawn Fatal Push. That's the only thing that makes any sense here. Jump my Frog. Block. I'm still going to make the block that makes the most sense. Discard Wasteland, discard Consign. Yep. To the surprise of no one, there's the Fatal Push. Got a bunch of cards out of me. This turn, I can flip Tamiyo, though, guaranteed. Which I am going to do. I get to draw 2 extra cards here. Tamiyo flips, sink into Stupor, achieved. Plus Tamiyo puts me to 1 on board, but I can buy back Swords to Plowshares next turn if they don't attack Tamiyo. I could also just bounce Murktide right now. It comes back bigger, but I don't have to... Yeah, I'm going to bounce it right now. It comes back bigger, but that locks up the Swords to Plowshares as an option. What a fun game this has become. Alright, Fatal Push was the draw. It's going to be Tamiyo versus top deck. Murktide's back. Ate the whole graveyard to do it. Tamiyo, let's get it done. Get back Swords to Plowshares. Allow this immediately. And pass the turn. They can't cast another Murktide. They need 2 more lands or 2 cards in their graveyard. I can answer a Frog. I can answer a Goyf. Tamiyo's ticking. The Oculus! Dr. Oculus! This one's good. Okay, now we have a real clock. Put Tamiyo under the Manifest. I think I prefer Tamiyo as a 2/2 to a Tamiyo right now. We got the GGs. Those were GGs. A positive record with Esper Dreadnought the day before I leave for Prague, with intents to play this deck. I want another land. It would probably be a Lorien Revealed, not actually another land, but just I spent so many turns of this league just thinking, I wish this was a land. I wish I had 1 more land. If I had 1 more land, etc., etc. I also do not actually think Deafening Silence is better than Null Rod. I'm going to make that change. I'm also not totally convinced on double Oculus Barrogoyf. I think this could be 2 top-end bangers. Maybe that's where my land comes from. 3 is a lot of Daze, but I am a 4 Psychic Frog, 2 Curie, plus Tamiyo deck. The list that I started working off of had 3 Dreadnoughts, not 2. And I like having that button to press, but I don't like being required to do that as game 1 plan all the time. I want flexibility. Definitely Null Rod, maybe Lorien Revealed. And that's where I'm going to leave this one. I'll do a little bit of tinkering myself. The Patreon will have had the list before the tournament, as always. By now, you know how I did. Hopefully I have good news to report. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.